The 2023 Wimbledon women's draw is out, and top seed Iga Swiatek was given a great path to the final, while defending champion Elena Rybakina and second seed Aryna Sabalenka were done dirty. I'll analyze the draw, go over all the top early round matches and top storylines before predicting who I think will take it all here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. Reigning Roland Garros champion Iga Swiatek will open against Chinese woman Lin Zhu, and she could then get Martina Trevisan in round 2, Petra Martic in round 3, Belinda Bencic in the 4th round, Coco Gauff in the quarters, Jessica Pegula in the semifinals, and Aryna Sabalenka in the final. Once again, Iga's draw looks very, very favorable. The Wimbledon app even says that Swiatek literally has the best draw out of everyone, and I'm not too mad about it because, she is the top seed, and technically the top seeds are kind of supposed to have the best draws, but you look at it, Roland Garros, her draw was pretty good, and now Wimbledon, her draw is literally the best draw possible, so I don't know. She did withdraw Iga from her semifinal match in Bad Homburg today as she cited food poisoning, but that was 90%. I'm 90% sure that was a cop-out for her to get ready for Wimbledon for that first round match where she plays on Monday. Iga was literally spotted eating at a Thai restaurant in London, so I'm sure that she's fine, y'all. Looking down at the rest of the draw, I honestly feel that Zhu Lin might be her toughest opponent that, Iga would face in this entire quarter. Lin, she did make the Birmingham semifinals, and then you look at Magdalena Linette, she is not that great on grass, and she actually lost to Zhu 3-love in that Birmingham tournament. Belinda Bencic is the highest other seed here, and she hasn't really done anything since the early part of the season. She hasn't played since Roland Garros, where she lost in the opening round. Same there with Danielle Collins, who is a talented player and who beat Iga before, but I just don't think that she's nowhere near the same type of player that she was back in 2022. I do think that Iga would probably play Britt Harriet Dart in the 3rd round, if not her, then Fruhvirtova, but neither of those players have the game really to challenge Iga consistently. So I think that Iga will be the very, very strong favorite to make it through to the quarterfinals, which I think that she will. Next, American Coco Gauff section is very interesting. She plays compatriot Sofia Kenin in round 1, who is actually the only American to come out of qualifying in both the men and women. Out of 20 men and women from the United States, she advanced through to the main draw. Kenin looks in good form, and she did not drop a single set in those 3 qualifying matches. The head-to-head is split between those two, as Kenin won their first match at the 2020 Australian Open, while Coco beat Sonia at the ASB Classic quarterfinals earlier in the year. Coco had a strong showing in Eastbourne this past week where she reached the semifinals, and she beat her doubles partner Jessica Pegula in the quarterfinals for her first top 5 win in a year and a half. She did fall to Madison Keys in straight sets in that semifinal, who simply overpowered her, but the good thing for Gauff is that she doesn't really have that many big ball strikers in this section, which are her, main obstacles overall. The biggest ball striker will probably be 5-time champion Venus Williams, who opens against fellow wildcard and former Wimbledon semifinalist Elena Svitolina. Venus played very, very well in Birmingham last week, beating Camila Giorgi, and she nearly took out Yelena Ostapenko in that 2nd round. However, this matchup with Svitolina is not a good one for V, as she's failed to win a set in their last 3 matches. Elena did get demolished 2-love recently by Linda Fruhvirtova, so V can take solace in that, but still, with her being 43 years old and playing an opponent like Svitolina, who will make her grind, it'll just be an uphill battle for the legend. Regardless, I hope the tournament does right by her and they put this match on center court, because it's definitely the most intriguing first round women's match. Plus, Venus deserves her flowers. Daria Kasatkina will probably be the biggest threat for Gauff in this section, as the 11 seed has never actually even dropped a set to Coco. Plus, she's in great form right now, reaching the Eastbourne finals. Daria could get Jodie Burge in the 2nd round, who reached the Nottingham final. Plus, she'll have the full crowd support Jodie will, too, if she does meet Kasatkina. Vika Azarenka is there too, and though she's played terribly this grass swing thus far, I think her draw is favorable enough to enable her to play herself into form. Plus, she always knows how to bring her, normally A, B level for the slams. Overall, I am pleased with Coco's Eastbourne form, and I think that she can grind through to at least make her first Wimbledon quarterfinal. Top American Jessica Pegula will start against compatriot Lauren Davis and could then face Kristina Bucsa in the second round, Mayar Sharif in the third, Ludmila Samsonova in the fourth round, Caroline Garcia in the quarters, Iga Swiatek in the semis, and then Aryna Sabalenka in the final. Pegula's section is good for her, but it also offers a lot of opportunity. Jessica has been off with her game since Madrid, to be honest, and she has suffered a lot of early round exits. Lauren Davis in round 1 could honestly be difficult, especially if Pegula does not start off strong this tournament. Rebecca Masarova played well in bout on board 2, but she suffered a fall and had to retire when leading that quarterfinal match versus Emma Navarro. Qinwen Zheng has the potential to play very well on grass, and she lost to the eventual champion Rybakina last year, pushing her in a tough 2-set loss. However, Zheng just finds it very hard to break through, especially on the big stages, so it will be tough, especially with her having to play Katerina Siniakova, who's currently in the Bach on board finals as we speak. There is an opportunity for American Alicia Parks, but she has yet to win a match on grass this season. If she can somehow get it together for this slam, that'd be a great opportunity for her to honestly even make the quarterfinals if she plays her best tennis, but that's a big if. Ludmila Samsonova is another talented player who can have a breakout moment here, but she typically underperforms in slams. Because of her slam pedigree and her overall experience, I'm sending Jessica Pegula through to make the quarterfinals. At the top of Caroline Garcia's section is Veronika Kudermetova, who beat Aryna Sabalenka in Berlin, but she withdrew in the quarterfinals because of injury concerns. I do have an upset alert for her in round 1 because she always seems to underperform in the majors. And then she plays Kai Kanepi to start, and it's literally Kanepi's job to knock out the top seeds in majors. Marketa Vondrousova is a decent player, and she could perhaps take advantage of an opportunity here. And then we also have Sloane Stephens, though grass is not Sloane's best surface, so I'm not really expecting much from her. Plus, she has not played on grass. Donna Vekic, to me, is the big standout player here. This is a great opportunity for her to go deep once again in the major. She did make the finals in Berlin, playing amazing tennis, and in Berlin, she upset Elena Rybakina and she beat Maria Sakkari en route to the finals, so she's definitely coming into the tournament with a lot of form and a lot of confidence. She does play Auntie Zhang in round 1, who does play great on grass too. I think she made the Wimbledon quarterfinals back in 2019, but Auntie Zhang is not playing that well at the moment, so I think Donna should be fine. Caroline Garcia is on course to play Maria Boskova in the third round, who made the quarterfinals at Wimbledon last year. And then Annette Kontaveit is there, and she's playing her final tournament at Wimbledon. This is a good opportunity for her to at least win one last match. Leylah Fernandez is decent on the grass. She missed Wimbledon last year due to injury, but maybe she can finally have a good run on the slam again if she, finally gets her act together. Briefly talking about Garcia a bit, she has been flopping lately, and she literally just withdrew from Eastbourne from the quarterfinals there versus Kasatkina due to a shoulder injury. Is that a legit injury, or is she just trying to save herself from Wimbledon? I don't know, but it's still a little bit concerning nonetheless. Regardless, I will have Donna Vekic come through this section and make the last 8. Ons Jabeur's section is another one that is full of opportunity because Ons has been off her game lately, losing early in both Berlin and Eastbourne. That first round against Magdalena Frech could be tricky too, as the Polish woman made both the Nottingham and Eastbourne quarterfinals, very nearly winning both of those matches there. Bianca Andreescu once again has a decent draw, and she has an opportunity to make some noise this tournament, as Annalena Kalinina is a bit of an unknown, but I wouldn't even be surprised if she lost to Bonder there in the opening round. Looking down, Petra Kvitova was touted as a potential player that could win this slam, as she won Berlin last week, but she does have a very difficult draw. She opens against Jasmine Paolini, who is a good player, and Paolini actually pushed Petra when they played in the opening round at Wimbledon last year. And then Alexandra Sasnovich in round 2. The Belarusian actually upset Petra in the Wimbledon opening round back in 2018. Karolina Pliskova and Petra are projected to play one another in the third round, and those two actually faced off last week in Berlin in the opening round, where Petra dominated that one, I think 3-4. Petra now, she does struggle at the majors. She has not made it past the fourth round at a Grand Slam since the 2020 French Open. Meanwhile, Pliskova, I think, has a good draw, and she should handle her first few opponents relatively easy. I know Pliskova has had a really bad year, but I feel like this tournament gives her the opportunity to kind of pull it together. You know, with her, she's one of those type of players that can kind of flip it on in the tournament, flip of a switch. And we saw that back in 2021 when she kind of, kind of came out of nowhere and made the finals after having some poor form. So I think that she has the game, obviously, to do well on grass, and she has the draw. So for that reason, I'm having her come through this section. Next, Elena Rybakina opens her title defense against Shelby Rogers and could get Elisa Cornet after that, and then Bernarda Pera in the third round, Beatriz Haddad-Maia in the fourth, Ons Jabeur in the quarterfinals, Aryna Sabalenka in the semis, and Iga Swiatek in the final. Rybakina's section, I'm going to be honest, looks absolutely brutal. There were concerns about Elena coming into the tournament because she withdrew from Eastbourne citing a similar illness that forced her to pull out from Roland Garros, that third round match against Sara Silves Tormo. Shelby, meanwhile, is a solid player, but she's been playing poorly all season, so I don't know if Elena should be that scared. Although Shelby did win their most recent meeting, which was actually last year on grass in Schwarthagenbosch. Elena will then likely play Elisa Cornet in round 2, who's always the tough out on grass, and she perhaps pulled off the biggest upset of the tournament last year when she defeated Iga Swiatek in the third round. I think that Rybakina will move through those first 2 matches and will end up playing Nottingham champion Katie Boulter in the third round, who would have the full crowd support with her. That could potentially be a tricky match, especially like I just mentioned, with the crowd getting behind Boulter a lot and Rybakina potentially, being impacted by that. But I still think that Elena should progress without too much fanfare. Up top, things are tough as well, as Birmingham champion Jelena Ostapenko is set to face Beatriz Haddad-Maia in the third round. Haddad-Maia is a decent cross-court player. She won 2 titles actually on the grass last season, but she has not done much this year. But I will give her a bone because she had a very, very taxing Roland Garros. I think, though, she is in danger of an upset against Yulia Putintseva in the first round. Ostapenko could play last year's semifinalist Tatiana Maria in the second round, who actually beat her at SW19 last year. Jelena has been on fire this grass season as she won Birmingham, and she won 2 more matches in Eastbourne before pulling out due to, quote, dizziness against Georgie. Really, if Jelena makes it through to the second week, she can win the entire tournament, but her biggest challenge is just making it through those earlier round matches where she is favored to win those matches, but just sometimes falters and loses focus. I think her draw looks good, even if she does play either Cristea or Maria. And I feel like it's the same with Rybakina, as her first few matchups look very, very tough, but if she gets through those, then she will be a very big favorite to go all the way. I will be sending Elena through to the quarterfinals because she's still the best player in this section, illness concerns aside, and I think her health should be fine for this championships. Next, Maria Sakkari has a tricky opening round against Marta Kostyuk, who is a solid player, but Maria should still win that match. She did play well in Berlin where she made the semifinals, so maybe she has a lot of confidence coming into that one despite losing her 7th straight tour semifinal. Fellow Netflix star Paula Badosa is coming back from that spinal injury she sustained in Rome. Let's see if her relationship with Stefano Tsitsipas negatively impacts her too. Madison Keys is there too, and she's currently in the Eastbourne finals where she has yet to drop a set. Anastasia Potapova is another dangerous player, but she struggles to take advantage of her opportunities, so I don't know if she can maximize her potential and go deep here. Another young talented Russian is there too, Mira Andreeva, as the 16-year-old phenom managed to make it through qualifying. She could play Barbora Krejcikova in the second round, and I'd favor Barbora in that one. She's coming into the tournament playing well, making the Birmingham finals, and I think this is a good opportunity for her to finally go deep in another major. There is a lot of opportunity in this section as well, but to me, Madison Keys would be the favorite with how she always knows how to play well in slams, barring that ugly loss to Kayla Day in the Roland Garros second round. But regardless, she's playing well. She's currently in the Eastbourne finals, which means she's riding high on confidence. So as long as she, doesn't get too burnt out from that run, I think that she should be a shoo-in for, not a shoo-in, but a decent favorite for the quarterfinals. Lastly, Aryna Sabalenka will start against Pano Udvardi and could meet Italian Camila Giorgi in the second round, Arina Camelia Begu in the third, Karolina Mukova in the fourth, Maria Sakkari in the quarters, Rybakina in the semifinals, and Iga in the final. Muchova is in the top half of this draw, who of course beat Aryna in the Roland Garros semifinals. And then there's Ekaterina Alexandrova, who is in great form right now, winning Schwartz and making the Berlin semifinals. Now, while things look pretty rough for Aryna, there is good news for her, as Muchova and Alexandrova are in each other's section, so she'd only have to play one of those players. I think that Aryna would be fine though if she did happen to play Katerina or Carolina, because for one, Alexandrova kind of underperforms in slams herself. She has yet to make it past a slam third round. And then I think Aryna would be extremely hungry and keen for revenge over Muchova should she play her. Really, Aryna should have won that Roland Garros semifinal match, so it's not a matter of Muchova being, the better player. I think Sabalenka is still a better player than Muchova, even on the grass, where Muchova is still a strong player. And then you have to consider the fact, too, that Carolina has not played a match since that Roland Garros final, so she might find it hard herself to adjust to playing on grass. I honestly think that Sabalenka's biggest challenge could come against Camila Giorgi in that second round, and if I were her, I'd hope that Gracheva would take out Giorgi, because Camila is a tough out, and she is playing well herself, making the Eastbourne semifinals, and she actually beat Sabalenka at Roland Garros last year. Now, I do think that if Sabalenka plays Giorgi, that whole match could be a bust, because Camila typically underperforms whenever she takes part in a highly anticipated matchup. Sabalenka did fall in the Berlin round of 16 to Kudermetova, so there are concerns about her form, but I am not reading too much into that. The big question to me, though, is has she recovered from that heartbreaking loss to Muchova at Roland Garros? I do think that she'll be okay, and I will have her making it through to her second consecutive Wimbledon quarterfinal. For my predictions, I have Swiatek and Vekic in the semifinals, as well as Elena and Aryna. Then in the championship, I have number 1 versus number 2, with Sabalenka prevailing to win her second Grand Slam title. To be honest, even though I have all 3 of them in the semifinals, I wouldn't be surprised if none of the big 3 players won this title. Iga honestly has the best shot, as her draw is easy, but there still are question marks about her form on the grass. And then Aryna and Elena both have very difficult draws, and there are question marks surrounding how Elena will handle the pressure of being the defending champion, plus Aryna and her ability to recover once again after that heartbreaking Roland Garros loss. There are about 5 other players I think who could really take this title, and those are Madison Keys, Barbora Krejcikova, Karolina Pliskova, Elena Ostapenko, and Donna Vekic. I do want to mention some snubs, which include Ons Jabeur, Daria Kasatkina, Coco Gauff, and Petra Kvitova. I guess the biggest snub to me would be Kasatkina, because she is playing well, but I just don't think her game still, she does not have the weapons to carry her through and win a Grand Slam title. The serve is still weak. Sometimes she gets into that pusher mentality. I don't think that will cut it against, the really, really good players, the really good ball strikers. And then concerning Jabeur, she could obviously turn it around for Wimbledon especially if she has an opened up draw. But still, I'm just concerned with her form, and I'm just concerned with her overall. Perhaps she's still struggling from those missed opportunities in that Roland Garros quarterfinal against Haddad Maia, so that's one thing. And then also with Coco Gauff, she served well, she volleyed well in Eastbourne, but with that forehand, she's not winning a slam. I don't know what else to say. And then Petra Kvitova, like I mentioned, she could win this title, but it's going to take something very special from her. And then the reason why I say that is because I don't know if it's like a mental block with her, but she just does not know how to bring her A game in the slams. Maybe, she can take that confidence from Miami, knowing that she can win, back-to-back matches in a single tournament and take it all. So maybe we'll see different Kvitova here. If she's healthy, I'd honestly be a bit surprised if Iga didn't make the finals, because once again, her draw is so good. Yes, she's not totally comfortable on grass, but I think that she's got some really good reps in Bad Homburg. Plus, there don't seem to be that many players that can take advantage of Iga's weaknesses on the surface, which concern timing and sometimes that error-prone forehand. And then why Sabalenka for the title, you might ask? Well, her game is pretty much tailor-made for the grass. She performed well here in 2021, making the semifinals in Wimbledon, and then of course she didn't have an opportunity to play here last year due to the ban. So I feel like she's hungry and eager to be back out there competing on center court. With the way that she's been playing this season, Sabalenka really deserves another slam title. So Why not it be Wimbledon? That's all for my preview, and let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my prediction of Sabalenka raising the Venus Rosewater dish. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post the men's Wimbledon draw preview. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian Basnight, and I'll see you all soon here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.